Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Movies! That's right. Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Movies. We are coming to you live from the Igloo for Season 4. The movies that were critically panned, but audience loved. That's right. This is our Season 4 topic chosen by you, the audience. And as always, I am joined by my faithful Penguin co-hosts, Doug, Angie, Jesse, and Andy. Gang.
Hello.
Season 4. How y'all feeling?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep, ready to rock it.
This was an interesting topic because this was, as I mentioned, chosen not by us,
Nope.
but by our listeners. We
Our
had
fan.
a ton of entry. Our fan. We had a ton of entry all around the world. One giant entry just dropped on our doorstep.
Actually, didn't it actually end up being like 20 plus?
No, we had 20 plus. Yeah, I think we had 30 or so entries.
Yeah. It's actually
all
it's
through
very
social
exciting.
media.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So,
And
Even
15,
you,
15 of them were not me.
Even you, Karen. Thank you.
yes.
Yes, Karen.
The topic is critically panned, audience loved. The kind of the marker that we started to go with in our mini episode when we chose this topic was to kind of start with tomatoes, the Rotten Tomatoes fresh meter. So there's an audience. There's an actual two critics score, audience and critics. So we started there. I started there.
Real quick, you have the suggestion? The actual suggestion that he wrote, how he wrote it?
Yeah. So it was the suggestion that the movie that was associated with this topic that was delivered by our fan was the movie Face Off, which actually does not meet this requirement.
Well, hold on. I just wanted to address that for a second. You say it doesn't meet it. So, and when you use the Rotten Tomato scores as the
Kind of a benchmark.
just the general indicator of which ones the critics panned and which ones the audience loved. In my research, I found several movies that I thought I might pick.
Yeah.
That when I gave them the Rotten Tomato test, failed, which kind of tends to go
Same
towards
here.
that idea. I even read about critics who had panned a movie and then saw it with a full audience, heard the audience and how much they liked it,
And
and
changed.
gone back and rewrote their
That's interesting.
their critique. So that there's like a bad critique by the same critic and then a good critique by the same critic. I think over time,
Are they
like
also
some of the movies,
politicians?
I actually, if you don't mind, I'm gonna throw up some movies here that were originally the critics hated, but now if you look them up on Rotten Tomatoes, you'd never know it.
Yeah, sure.
Real quick though. For
Okay.
Face Off specifically,
Yep.
I mean, it has a 92% critic rating.
Are you serious?
92% and it's in fact the opposite of this because the audience giving it 82%.
Mhm.
I think the audience 82% is now more the zeitgeist of how bad the movie
But I
is.
almost think that maybe at one time Face Off, and I've never seen the film, but I kind of think that maybe that the critics didn't like it. And I'll tell you why, because it is a what's his name film?
John Travolta.
John Woo.
No, it's John Woo. Oh,
John Travolta.
It's not
It's John
Michael- it's
Travolta
not
and
Michael
Nicolas
Bay.
Cage.
I was just
And,
gonna say,
But it's like Nicolas Cage at his peak
And,
with John Travolta
Nick.
coming
on his
out
return,
of Pulp Fiction, and
Who's the other guy in that? Oh no, I'm thinking Broken Arrow. Sorry.
John
Christian
Travolta's
Slater
in that
is
Christian. I'm thinking Christian Slater from Broken Arrow. I'm sorry.
No, Face.
Yeah, Face Off. Face
Off.
off. Face Off. Yeah, Face
Yeah.
Waterfall.
So Face Off is completely. I mean, I remember. I love that movie. When I saw that movie in the theater, I loved that
It
movie.
was on the other day. Like after we all talked about it and on the episode, it was on. And I
It's
was
one of
like,
those movies I think that people
Yeah.
think about and they think, "Oh, what a bad movie! Everybody must have hated it." But in reality, like everybody
Or
loved
the critics must have hated it.
Yes.
Everyone, I've never heard him. I've never seen it because it doesn't look like it would appeal to me. But everyone I've ever heard who's seen it seems to like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. I kind of wish it would have meet the criteria so we could,
So
so I
we
could
could-
pick it.
I want to be able to. I wish we could have.
When I was
Nick Cage
researching
movies so
the
that I
topic,
could've
I'd
picked
say
it.
two types of movies were all over the internet as far as critics hated and audience loved, and one pretty much the Medea franchise. You could pick a Medea film and the critics hated it and the audience loved it, or you could pick I would say probably 75-80% of Michael Bay films critics didn't like and audience loved, just off of initial research.
Medea's Family Reunion is the shit. I love that fucking movie.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
Is
Medea
this the
so
first one on
funny.
your list? Did it make your list?
Whoa.
Any Medea film make your
No,
list?
but it is so funny. Real-
It is the shit. I love that fucking
Thank
movie.
you.
Yeah.
I watch it. It is on all the time, and I watch it.
And did this movie
that's a
make
review.
anyone's list though?
I
See,
know
but
I didn't.
Medea's
There you
one.
go.
See, that's it. Like Medea has like that. It's the people have that feeling about how it's such a stupid movie. Like it's gonna be bad and blah blah blah. But it's one of those movies that when people actually sit there and watch it, like we
It's
can sit there and all day
entertaining.
and say, "Oh, Medea sucks." I can't remember the last Medea movie I've seen, but
I've
it's
never
one of
seen
those
one.
movies where when you actually watch it, you're like, "Wow, that was actually pretty funny. That's actually good."
It's so
And that's how the audience rating like goes up because and look, to be fair, a bad critic score could kill a movie in the theater.
Yeah.
And like, oh, all the critics hated it,
Yeah.
But there are a lot of movies that kind of transcend that, and sometimes it's over time. Donnie Darko is probably a good example of this. Another movie that Andy picked was
Fear and Loathing in Las
Las
Vegas.
Fear and
Vegas.
Loathing.
It actually fits this criteria.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
to
on
the T.
mhm.
Yeah,
So
it fits this
those are
criteria.
some types of
In fact,
movies.
It didn't make my list only because we've done it before, and not only has it been on my list before, we actually did a must watch on it already. So not on my list today.
Go see that this first season. Donnie
Yeah.
Darko's.
Yeah.
Season 1
But here's
is
That's season 1, Las Vegas movie.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Donnie
So
Darko is
here's a
last
couple of
season.
movies, or a few movies that were critically panned at release, but have since grown so that would not be acceptable for the topic today. Predator,
The original
Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger movie.
Eat him to the chopper. I watched that the other
Rocky
day.
Horror
Come
Picture
on,
Show.
I'm right here.
The critics originally hated the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well,
then it became the cult.
Don't they still hate it?
Actually, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's now 80 to 85. 80 on
wow.
critics, 85 on audience.
That's such a fun.
Here's
I know.
one: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And it's at a 97 now, today. But when it first came out, critics not a fan of the spaghetti western.
Well, question: is it the same critics that changed their mind, or are they new critics that are
think
viewing
has
it
to
with
do
a
both-
different?
both. I think a lot of these movies suffer from when they're released the concept of Rotten Tomatoes coming out. Rotten Tomatoes wasn't around when say the Shining.
Well, and so when you look at some of these older movies in the 80s and whatnot, you do see, and then you go to Rotten Tomatoes and you're like, I want to look at these reviews, and then you look and they're like, movie was made in 1983, and then they're like the last of the reviews like 2013,
Right.
2014,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
They-
you're kind of
They-
skewing it because I want to
Exactly.
know
They
what
do have a skew of the zeitgeist.
I
on
want to
it.
see what they thought when it came out, and so
Well-
a lot of movies you're
Yeah.
like, I want to find the reviews that were 1982
Yeah.
well,
or
like for Face Off, Roger Ebert, thumb up, 1997.
Huh.
He gave it a thumbs up.
so. But I mean, I understand
But
exactly
again,
what you're saying. Like,
I didn't my list could have been far different had I actually done that. Because like I said, The Shining, Scarface was originally the critics hated Scarface. It's a great movie. Psycho,
See,
the
that's
original
the
Hitchcock
one.
Psycho. The critics said
Yeah.
this movie's terrible,
Yes.
never gonna go anywhere.
Well, and I wonder.
and actually,
I
the critic
almost
score on
picked
Rotten
that one.
Tomatoes for Psycho is higher than the audience score.
Did we talk about in the mini episode? Did we talk about when we started to outline this about the idea that over time that like what you're saying?
We
like,
did, but we kind of
did
agreed
have
that
discussion,
any
or
of
did
us
I
could,
think this discussion
as long as
already?
you were willing to go to bat and argue the films and why you selected them, you could select them for whatever
Oh, that's
measure
right,
you
yeah,
individually ended up with. I did use a Rotten Tomato score to pick my final five. So that's why movies like
same.
Predator, Rocky
Mhm.
Horror, and I didn't even
I
get
found
to it,
it-
but Bonnie and Clyde didn't make my list
I
because
found it hard to find any other qualifier other than Rotten Tomatoes that would easily give me a
sure.
quantifiable or correlatable.
I did
between
find that kind of
audience and-
when you looked at like Metacritic,
Metacritic,
it was kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
like,
well, Metacritic is that's the whole thing. They take a bunch of different ones and aggregate into one. I think the cool thing about the category that we got dealt to us was that it is specific to critics and audience, which Rotten Tomatoes is already
separated.
It's set up
The-
that way.
I think the noise that you get with Rotten Tomatoes though is what they're trying to validate now is having true user reviews.
Kind of, like, like Captain Marvel, where they get spam,
so like verified
Yeah.
people that have
Yeah,
seen it,
that's-
So, and I'm glad that they did that. I don't think any of the movies that are on my list would have had that problem, as of late.
Mhm.
But I think that's the interesting part about the categories. We already had a resource there, and I in some of the research that I did, I found an article. And the article was from 2013, so I had to do a little bit of work for the 2013 to present. But I found an article that outlined and outputted all of the data from Rotten Tomatoes and aggregated it into one spreadsheet up to 2013. So every movie that had a disparity of audience score above 60 and a critic score below 60. So I was able to, and I sent it to you guys, I was able to split that out. And then what I started to really look for was not the movies that were like a critic score of 59 and an audience score of 61. I wanted to know what were the big disparities, because I think that would have the most stability in staying that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, at the end of the day, that's kind of how my list ended up being generated, was the largest disparity. And that's how I got my must watch. I went for the must watch that I couldn't really deny it. I researched internet and I came up with, I found 4 or 5 different resources, and I went through and I picked different movies off of different lists. And then I started researching each of those individual movies, throwing stuff out. I had to throw out, I really kind of wanted to do Big Fish, but I threw Big Fish out. I considered
You threw Big Fish back?
Yeah, I threw Big Fish back, absolutely.
It wasn't a keeper.
I threw out Love Actually.
Is that the I'm just a boy?
No, that's Notting Hill.
It's a Christmas
It's the same
movie.
movie. They're all the same movie to me.
Love Actually is the.
Is it the one with the British guy? What's his name?
All
Grant?
of the British guys.
all the British guys?
What's
Yeah,
his name?
Colin
Treasure,
Firth.
Colin Firth.
Yeah.
No. Who's
Hugh
the
Grant?
Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
I would
Yes.
say Grant Hill, but
American Treasure, Hugh Grant.
So-
American
it's
Treasure,
the British
Colin
one
Firth.
about love with
American
Grant
Treasure,
with Hugh Grant.
Bill
Hugh Grant,
Nye.
yes, the
American
That
Treasure.
really knocks them all down.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
one with the
American
really bad
Treasure, Liam
friend
He's the
that
prime
stands
minister.
in front outside
Yeah.
of the married woman's house, and it's like
Yeah, like I said,
Yep.
it's this, they all blend together. With
I
me.
almost really wanted to make it my must watch, just so we could.
Love Actually.
Oh, I would love to watch that.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
But anyway, didn't
love
even make my
Love
final 5. So guys,
Alas.
fellas, you're safe.
So I got a question though. Did everyone pick their movies that the audience was correct?
I thought was part of the criteria.
No. It's critics hated, audiences loved. Generally, people pick
Not
the
necessarily
movies.
that you agreed with it.
Yeah, that most people here, I'm almost guaranteeing, almost everybody picked a movie
I
that they thought, oh, the critics have it wrong and the audience has it right. Did anyone pick the movie where it was like, no, that movie sucks and the audience is completely wrong? And I have one of those on my list.
Well, I thought no, because
I have
I
one on my
honestly
list as
thought
well.
I was picking movies that I like that fall into this
Yes,
criteria.
that's what I did.
well,
I thought so to me this was a very difficult category for me, because 9 times out of 10 I tend to agree with critics. So I had to find movies where I went against the grain, and I hate to agree with the popular vote. I go against the grain.
just say it. The peasants.
I don't. Yes,
He's movie pretentious.
I am team pretension. I am
he's
not
pretentious.
team peasant. Okay, I'm team
Just say it.
anyway. So it was very difficult for me, because I would not do that. Now, if you did that, that's
I didn't
cool.
say that's not the movie I chose, but I have movies on my top
I mean, I
5
think they're
where
all
it
wrong.
was. I have it where the movie. It's not that I hated them. Well, okay, the one movie I did I really don't care for, but it was a movie like I wouldn't mind watching because I kind of like the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot. Some of these movies aren't very good, and I'm kind of like want to question the audience. I'm like, why would people think this movie is good?
I would love to do a season of movies where the audience was wrong.
But so I viewed it
That
as
is so my category.
But no, but I mean,
I
we
can
viewed
believe
it
that.
as. But
Yeah.
You would
I
shine.
would-
dude.
I would shine. That would
I
be.
would
That would be the
struggle.
season of Andy.
I only took it as
See, the
'cause
audience
we
is
said-
wrong because
we said.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we said.
I can tell
What's the
you.
criteria? Whatever we really want it to be, as long as it fits the category, right?
Exactly.
again, to me, it had to be movies where the critics didn't like it, but then
the audience loved it.
And then I like it too. Like I'm trying to pick a movie that I really like.
Yeah, that was a criteria for me. Was I just wanted to like it. I didn't have it. I didn't have to be loved.
I thought we actually discussed that because I was like, so I could put movies on here that just fit, and we were like, no, it's got to be. They got to fit the criteria, and they have to be some of your favorite films.
No, that was not the discussion. The discussion I remember was that it had to fit the criteria. No, I'm just saying that like I viewed it as long as it fit the criteria. It didn't seem like some of the movies people were trying to pick did not fit the actual criteria of critics panned, audience love.
We're looking at you,
I'm
Cass.
not pointing at anyone.
I tried to. There's one I tried to push through, but in the end, I didn't.
Because I mean, for me, that was the only criteria.
I got shot
was
down.
that as long as it fit that criteria, I could pick any movie I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm really expecting one of these three films to be on somebody else's here's list. They're not on my list.
I'm wondering if we're going to have any.
But Flashdance,
Nope.
Super Troopers,
Nope.
Tommy Boy.
Nope.
No.
I really would have guessed those would have been on one of your
Is that your
didn't
list,
even-
or are you just reading
That is
stuff
not
off?
my list.
Oh.
That is
I didn't even
three
think
movies that fit the
I didn't think
criteria
about Tommy
that I think
Boy.
you guys like.
No.
Tommy
I
Boy
like
and Black
Tommy Boy.
Sheep. I didn't think about them till after I was done compiling my list.
I
And,
saw those on my big aggregate spreadsheet, but it didn't make my even my top whatever this is, top 15.
And Flashdance would have never made my list ever.
No.
Really? Flashdance?
Never.
I
Never
could
seen it.
do without Flash.
I'm a maniac.
What-
Yeah,
what's
she was
on
just
flow?
she was
Calm
just a
down,
girl
Andy.
from a steel town
That dances.
doing the
Andy's
best
doing
she
the
can.
Flash dance right now.
What
Yeah,
a
he
great.
was.
Can't handle it.
He
Yeah.
just dumped a bunch of water on himself.
I really
It's gonna
wish
be
that would have
terrible
been
for
on the
cleanup.
end.
And that's gonna make for a slippery igloo. Somebody's gonna be slipping up a Frank hole.
Don't get offended by
So
that, Karen.
let's talk some of our lists that we put together. Critically panned, audience loved. Let's talk about some of our lists. I had so many movies that fit what you're talking about, Andy, that are movies that fit the category that I loved. And then there was a couple of movies that I saw on there, Doug, that I just wanted to do because like they are like a 0 rating. Like there was like
A 0?
like Only the Strong.
Don't know it.
Oh, it's terrible. It's a terrible movie. If you're into Brazilian jiu-jitsu or capo, wherever the
Capoeira.
The audience loves
Yeah.
it.
That's a Capoeira movie.
Yes,
or
that's
whatever?
the Capoeira movie.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's terrible. It's a horrible movie, but it gets a 77 audience score. It's a 0. It's a 0.
Zero critic.
Exactly.
It's insane.
I think that
but like stuff like that.
How do you not
that
find one
makes a-
critic to be like, it's
I
all
know,
right?
right? Like because I love that Eddie in Tekken was my favorite character, and I love this movie because of that. Total meta reference for anybody that plays video games, but I think that would have made for good conversation.
Kevin
right?
attempts pretension.
But some of the others that I wanted to choose, things like The Wraith, Charlie Sheen's The Wraith.
Because you like that, or just because of the
I know because I
disparity?
like the movie.
Okay.
No, I like the movie, and it has a wide disparity.
That might have been a good one to talk about.
Yeah, Hackers.
Oh, I like that movie.
Yeah,
It does not hold up well.
Oh,
but
no.
I
Mess
like
with
it.
the best, die like the rest.
exactly. Now here's one that was a very close for my choice. Party Monster, with Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green. It's the story
Don't
of the party kids. The Michael Alec story
In New York City.
Yeah, New York City party kids.
Oh, DJ Karaoke. And all
DJ
that.
Karaoke, yeah. But it's Macaulay Culkin, Wilmer Valderrama's in
Yes,
it. And
I do know that movie. Yes.
Dermot Mulroney McDermott is in it. Whatever that guy's
Two
name
different
is.
people.
No, it's
Believe it.
Dermot McDillon Mulroney is in that movie. John Stamos is in that movie. That was almost my pick
So
because
they just picked a whole bunch of people that looked very similar.
I guess, yeah.
Why
but
not?
it's
Well,
like
like Dermot
super.
McMurray.
It's super like drug fueled. Like Dylan McDermott Mulrooney Dermot has a really like sinister character. But that was almost my pick. Another one that was almost my pick just because of the disparity and not because it's a good movie. But I remember watching it on HBO, Dream a Little Dream with the Coreys,
Yeah. No, I know.
the Coreys,
Yeah.
Haim and Feldman.
I think I've seen that.
Everybody I've ever talked to about that movie says that exact same thing. I think I've seen that. No one has ever said, yes, I've seen that. It is such a trippy movie.
I remember it's like when I hear that movie, I see them dancing in a gym.
Yes. Yeah. It's like the whole movie's a dream sequence. It's so weird. I would have loved to have discussed that in this format because it was weird. But should I
Man, you're making me think of movies I want to do. Yeah, knock out your list. Let's hear it.
We almost saw Corey Feldman in concert, by the way, but didn't make it.
I think
that's true.
Just to say
we did it. We almost got tickets to see Corey Feldman in concert.
What does he do?
He sings and dances poorly.
Corey Feldman?
I figured it was like a one-man show or something.
No, he has. It's Corey Feldman and his Angels.
He's the lead singer of his band.
One that's been waiting for like the Frog Brothers movie.
Didn't they just they remade? They did a new Lost Boys, right? And didn't they? Or there's a new Lost Boys coming out.
They did a new Lost Boys?
I've been wanting to see the Frog Brothers. I like Lost Boys.
I love. I made her watch it the other day.
Someday, if we ever do,
I'm making Angie like relive my childhood.
If we do vampire movies, Lost Boys has a good chance of being on my five.
It's okay. It's not that good to me.
So, like, there were so many movies on this list that I loved, and then there was a couple that like I wanted just to make to stir the pot. But like, so my top 5, the list that I would bring to this would be
top 4.
My top 4.
Wait, no, your bottom 4.
My bottom 4, yeah. My bottom 4.
She said.
Are you saying we're holding off on the top 5?
And then we'll do like an announcement.
Okay.
Well, this is his top 4.
Yes, this is my
the fifth one is his
slot.
choice.
We're all going to announce our 4.
3, and 2.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Here's what my list would have been, or is, rather. Grandma's Boy.
So good.
I know.
Never seen it.
So
I hear good things about it, though. I hear good things.
It's so good.
I heard that movie 5 times before I ever saw it.
It was on my.
How can you see me?
I wanted to research it. But
Exactly. Not when I have robot legs.
I research it. I mean, watch it.
It's so
Dude,
did you think you're stuck in the Matrix?
How much do clothes cost in the Matrix?
good.
So Grandma's Boy. The jazz singer, Neil Diamond's The Jazz Singer. Not a good movie. Fantastic soundtrack.
I'm just such a fan of Neil Diamond. Yeah.
Oh, dude,
I am.
you're gonna have to leave the igloo. Joe Dirt.
He said he
You
was.
said he is a fan.
Oh, you said you are.
I'm a huge fan of Neil Diamond.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
My July 4th ritual.
No,
is
I
to,
apologize.
Is to,
I think you said I'm not a fan. Dude,
my July 4th ritual is to listen to Coming to America and then just fill up my whole day with Neil Diamond music.
my earliest concert experience, my memory is Neil Diamond at the rodeo.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
a little
That's
jealous
amazing.
for you.
It's great. So there we go. What did I say? Joe Dirt? Did I say Joe Dirt?
Not yet.
Okay, so jazz singer Joe Dirt,
It's so.
and I think that's what is that?
That's
That's
3.
three.
Is that 3?
You need one more.
Grandma's Boy, the jazz singer Joe Dirt, and Party Monster.
Okay.
Those would have been my.
But they are.
That is your 4 on your
That's
list.
not would have been, right? They are.
That's your list.
Those would have been my choices had I not choosed the one I'd
Wait.
chosen
No.
that I'd choose.
All right.
It's-
Who's next to go up the Frank hole?
Angie, go ahead.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's hear it.
I will say Joe Dirt was also on my
Follow
list.
me
Really?
up. Follow
I was
me up,
wondering if
Frank.
there's going to be
Yeah.
any like.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
Duplicates.
It's not in my top 5.
Oh,
But it was
okay.
on my list of like to get culled down. So some of these are like guilty pleasures for me.
Okay.
The A-Team.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I
Never saw
watched
it.
that. I
Never
watched
saw
that
it.
So good.
recently.
It's
Every
such
time
a
it
good
comes
movie.
on, I watch at least a little bit of it. It's
Yeah.
not a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't like.
No,
it.
Don't-
it's
no,
great.
it is.
I haven't
It's
seen
so
it.
good.
Don't get me wrong.
The audience loved it.
I enjoy that movie. I liked
Okay.
it. I'm surprised they didn't make another one. I guess it didn't do well
Then
on
fight for it.
It's like, but it wasn't a huge disparity. It was like
You seen the
48,
A-Team?
66.
It was so good.
I knew the answer to that question when I asked it. but-
Gone in 60 seconds.
That's on my big list.
Okay.
This is on my big list. And that's a big disparity. It's 25 critic versus 77 audience. Let's see. Constantine
Yeah.
Oh, with
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
with Keanu Reeves.
I love that movie.
I love that
that
movie.
was
Yeah.
good.
But I don't have the I didn't read the comic book that it's based off of, and
Yeah.
apparently he's supposed to be British.
DC Vertigo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
And I didn't know that.
I didn't
So
know
I
that
just
either.
enjoyed the movie, which is kind of weird because it's kind of
It doesn't bother me that he's not
British.
British.
Well, it doesn't bother me,
I
but
didn't
I
know
don't have
that.
anything
You know how they
invested in
get.
this.
You know like a
Yeah,
fanboys
that-
kid.
Yeah.
the comic
it's
fanboys,
not
yeah.
true to the fall.
Yeah, you
it
know,
needs to be
like-
British and blonde hair.
Yeah,
and-
whatever.
This one almost made my choice. I almost made this one my must-watch. The Lake House.
Another Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, time travel. It
I
was.
haven't seen it.
I almost made you watch this one, but I didn't.
It's Nicholas Sparks, right?
No, it's not Nicholas Sparks, but it's
No,
very.
they're all the same.
But it's
It's-
very
might as
Nicholas.
well be.
It's very Nicholas Sparks esque.
It's that category of movie.
Smoking Aces.
I love it. That's a good movie.
Okay,
Jeremy
so let's see.
Well, yes,
Yes.
it's one of those ensemble ones.
Ensemble, yeah.
Oh, yeah. With
Ryan Reynolds,
Alicia Keys is in that
Alicia
too?
Keys, Ryan Reynolds, Common,
Yeah.
Ben
Okay.
Affleck's in
That
it
was a good movie.
for a minute.
It was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good movie.
What's it
I've
called?
only seen
What's
that
the movie
once or
called
twice,
again?
but that was a good
Smoking
movie.
Aces, but it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a 30 critics versus 62 audience.
That's not
It's
bad.
a fun, exciting movie. I
It's-
think that's
yeah.
probably why the audience loves it
Yes,
so much.
it's fun. It's a lot of action. It's a lot of like let's get stuff.
Fast-paced, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start counting down. 5 for me was National Treasure.
Love that. I
Because
love that whole franchise.
I feel like I must have
Some Cage on that list.
Some Cage on my
Gotta
list.
get some cage rage.
and that's a 4676 disparity.
That's a good movie, man.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it for what it is and his very badly dyed hair.
His poorly chosen wig.
Is that what it is? It's so bad. Men on Fire. And I know
Yeah,
I brought it
that's a
up
good one.
before. I love this movie. And the disparity was 39 to 89.
It was on my list of movies I'd like to, because I've never seen it. It didn't stand a chance because I didn't have time to research or watch it. But it was on my
It's
list.
a good
I
movie.
wanted to
I
check it
almost
out.
now I wish I'd chosen it.
I
It's
watched
such
about
a good movie.
3 movies for research,
Really?
and only one of them made my list.
And this one is on my list because I was shocked at the disparity because I remember watching it as a kid and I loved it. Hook.
Mhm.
No, I didn't.
I saw that in the
I
theater with my mom.
love that
Me and
movie.
my
You
mom.
don't like it,
I did
Jess?
not like that movie.
Really?
And I was a kid. I think I saw it in the theater too. And
It's
even I was sitting there going, Julia Roberts was miscast as Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
I'm like,
I didn't like the part where she like gets big, but I like the Lost Boys.
Mhm.
Everything. I liked it.
Did you see that?
Rufio.
Did you see that newer Peter Pan movie
No.
made just recently, like
No.
3 or 4
With
years
Hugh
ago?
Jackman?
No.
Yes.
Wolverine?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not. No.
Which one?
It was a
What
musical.
movie?
Was it Hugh
Mhm.
Jackman in the musical?
Shocker, I
Color
know.
me shocked.
Do you remember what it was? Do you remember
It
what
was
it was
called
called?
Great
Pan,
Show?
I think.
Pan.
Yeah.
Oh, Pan.
Oh, didn't that
Yeah.
get panned?
Pan?
Pan
Wait,
was Pan.
Pan
Oh.
or Pam?
Where's the-
Boom goes the dynamite.
Are you saying Pan or Pam?
Wait, I think I have a
it's
suggestion
the M-
about this
the M is
Pan
silent.
Pam situation. Sorry.
The M is silent.
All right.
But does that movie meet the criteria?
Pam?
Pam?
Pan or Pam?
Hey, Pam.
Pam?
Anyway, so Hook was 2676. I was surprised. Van Wilder.
Which one? The Rise of Taj?
No. The original is funny.
It's
Ryan
the-
Reynolds?
Yeah, I love
Ryan
that movie.
Reynolds.
I'll watch that movie every time.
What's her face? It's
That movie and Waiting
wait.
are two that I'll
Waiting
watch.
almost made it on my list, but I don't remember what the
Yeah.
the scores were.
You
I like
are the worst human being. Yeah.
the end. Yeah. Is that 4 movies?
I'd love to talk about Waiting, but my fear is I'd get in trouble.
Oh no. Okay. The accountant.
Oh,
with
we
Ben
watched that
Affleck.
movie.
Oh my god.
It was.
I
I'm a fan of
enjoyed
that movie.
it.
Okay.
I liked it.
It was all right. It just felt weird.
I felt the title was needed
there,
to
there was
be
very
different.
there was very many things that were wrong with it. His portrayal of somebody with
Yeah. Whatever.
Carpal tunnel.
No,
Autism.
No, autism.
Autism.
Asperger's.
Spectrum,
Yeah,
whatever.
on
yeah.
the spectrum was very
That
As
was
Problematic.
bad as the guy on the spectrum in Geely.
Oh, Doug from Hangover. And Geely?
it was handled worse. It was
It was handled worse.
Handled
than
worse.
Doug
Think about what
in
you're saying.
Geely.
well,
That was
no,
pretty
because
bad.
they in the movie it's like, oh, he was cured by listening to really loud music.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It was really weird.
I think
I
that
don't
calmed
remember
him
that.
down.
I don't remember
or
much
whatever it
about
was.
that movie.
All right.
But the accountant was on there, and then I have my must watch, which
Which we're hanging off
we're
on.
not revealing at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Doug?
Yeah, I'll go. A couple of the movies that I didn't make my list that I kind of wish did. Bad Boys 2. That's a big one. That's like a huge
I
disparity.
feel like I'd have to watch 2 movies, though.
The one
Bad
so you can get
Boys
through-
I knew
is
you wouldn't.
awesome.
No.
So,
No,
hang on.
Bad Boys is awesome.
So Jesse loves Bad Boys, and so
Are we talking about movies or just?
Men in general.
So
I mean, look who
Why
I
do you think
married.
she's-
The ultimate bad boy.
Ultimate bad boy.
So I don't have control of the remote in my house for this reason.
Are you airing your grievances or telling a story?
I'm telling a story. So I had the remote one time and I was thumbing through the guide and Bad Boys 2 showed up. And I was like, oh, Jesse likes the movie Bad Boys. I'll put it on that. Why are you writing things down? So I'll put it on that. And she turned to me and she says, I don't want to watch this. And I said, but you like Bad Boys. But that doesn't mean I like Bad Boys 2. And so that was, and that evening, I handed the remote over for good.
And
Wait.
it was over.
They're making Bad Boys 3, right? Or did they already make it?
4. They did
I
3.
think they did.
They're making a 4. They're supposed to be making a 4th.
Oh Jesus! No, just go watch the first one and just.
How deep
leave
are
it.
we, Doug? Are we 2 in?
All right.
Oh no! So that was just kind of a movie that I wasn't thinking
Oh,
of.
okay, okay.
But the movies I chose are Con Air.
Yes.
Yeah, made it to your list.
Con Air.
Barely. I mean, that one is like so on the brink
59
of 55 and 75.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that movie's on all the time, and I always skip it because I am waiting. And I've
have
seen
to
it.
watch
I've
it.
seen it. I know one day I'm going
Until
to be
it's a
forced to watch
must-watch.
this, and
Uh-huh.
I'm just.
And to continue
pick this
on
damn
like
movie.
bad movies, well, I think the critics were right. Transformers, the original,
Yeah, I hate that movie.
5885.
There's your Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
That's
Yeah.
Michael Bay. So when you
Yeah.
said Michael Bay, I was like, yeah. So that gets into movies that I kind of consider the critics right, but I think may have been interesting.
It floors me how much money they must have spent on special effects to make scenes where I have no idea what's going on.
I know everything's happened so fast.
It's just a bunch
You
of.
don't see
It's like
anything.
blurs.
And I was so used to in the cartoon, the Transformers were very sleek.
Well, it's sad
And-
that they're not the main characters in their own
Well,
movie.
but I'm just saying they were very sleek. And then when they transform, it's like this whole metal thing of all these small little pieces moving. And I'm like, no, my Transformers are big blocks. You
Exactly.
know? So I just did not.
Three moves.
Little thing. We saw Transformers and Die Hard 4 in the same weekend. And they were all like, "Oh, I love Transformers." I was like, "No, Die Hard 4 was a much better movie."
Are
than
we on
this.
Die
Which
Hard
one is
5 now? Or
Die
no?
Hard 4?
They did, it's the one with
That
Tim
one's Live and
Oliphant.
Die Hard.
It's the
Oh
fir-
God, that one is so good with Justin Long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the fire sale.
Yeah, I walked out like, and I was like,
Dude.
Die Hard 4 was so much better than this movie, and
I
everybody
think
seemed to
they're
love
making another
Transformers.
one.
They've made a 5 where he goes to overseas with
Live
his
Free or
son,
Die
Yeah.
Hard.
with the guy who was
Yeah.
in
Isn't that
Suicide
what it's
Squad,
called?
the
Is that what it's
Boomerang guy, Captain
There
Boomerang.
I
is
want
one
to say
movie
they're
that's
making
called
one
Captain
after
Boomerang.
that,
Is that his name? Captain Boomerang?
and I
In
think
Suicide
it's called
Squad.
Die Hard McLean, or it's just
I think
called,
they're making a
or it's
sixth
just
one.
called McLean.
All right, so
I think McLean. I think you're right.
and a movie
He's
that
gonna
I
be-
like
he's gonna be
that a lot of
trucking
people
things across the
don't,
country.
and so it's
Okay,
Batman versus Superman.
That movie is unintentionally hilarious.
Guys, can I tell you something? That's my favorite DC superhero movie.
No.
Jesse
Yeah.
Eisenberg
Wait,
was
wait,
so
wait, wait.
miscast.
That's the one hit the huge problem with the movie.
I like it.
I enjoy the movie. I'm not very. Hot take.
Ben
Affleck probably makes the perfect Batman.
He makes the
What?
perfect Bruce Wayne.
He makes the perfect
What?
Bruce Wayne at this age.
Yeah.
No,
Really?
No. You'll have it
I
backwards.
don't like him at Bat.
He makes a perfect Batman. Christian Bale makes a perfect Bruce Wayne.
Oh, if only they could just.
I think
Bolt together
I don't like what
into
they did
one.
with a lot of it. It's a mess of a movie. I enjoy the movie. I still watch it, and I people hate it so much.
I enjoy it.
I enjoy the movie, but it's 2863.
It still upsets me. It
That's
upsets
interesting.
me that they have yet to be able to crack the Marvel code. You
Well,
have
they
the
don't wanna-
better superheroes.
They don't
You
want
have
to put
the
the
better
time in. That's what they
superheroes.
don't want. They don't want to put the time into it.
How can you make
All
me
right,
not
I'm not
care?
going to jump into. I'm not going to. I feel like I'm being baited. I'm not going to jump into.
Anyway,
this.
so my fourth movie, which is number 2, it's almost 1A, 1B. This is a movie that very lost out, and it's the kind of movie I really enjoy because I saw it when I was younger. Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Have you seen that, Andy?
I want to say I have.
With Andy
Never even
Garcia,
heard of it.
I've never.
I want to say I have
Christopher
seen it.
Lloyd.
I think I've seen
Steve
it. And I think I like
I've
it.
always seen it on, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
I think I've seen it.
I've
I'll
never
have to
seen
check
it.
it out.
Yeah, it's a
Matter
movie I
of fact-
saw a long time ago when I was a kid, like probably when I was in high school or whatever. It was 3372,
Wow.
and it was almost the movie I chose, but I went another way.
Okay, that was your 4.
That was 4.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jesse.
Okay. Well, you brought up Psycho.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah. Yeah, not that Vincent Vaughn baloney.
Abomination.
I was hoping
Yeah.
you were going to
Did you
say
just call him Vincent?
so.
Vaughn?
Vincent Vaughn's.
Vincent Vaughn, what I call it?
Terrible.
Isn't it Vince Vaughn?
I would
Vince
love.
Vaughn. If you know him like I do, it's Vincent.
Oh, I got it. His friends call him Vincent.
No,
Vincenzo.
if you know him like I do, you call him Vincent. Anyway, sorry, my joke didn't land. Apparently,
Oh, I got it.
Karen, I hope you're laughing. I hope you
His
appreciate
friends
it.
call him Vince.
I call
He calls him Vincent.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, there it went. There, see, it went to
Thank-
him, and then
thank
it landed. It was. That's what you call
He got the
an
rebound.
assist. Anyway, that's my sports lingo. So Psycho was up there, and that just I didn't want to research. We're talking about Rotten Tomatoes and using that as like if to easily see numbers right in front of you. And I feel like a movie like Psycho, you'd have to actually go to Google for this.
I've never seen it.
Well,
I
Would you be?
I
you know?
I know I know what it is, and I know why it's so important. But
Well, apparently, and I didn't even know this because I wouldn't have even thought of this. I had to look up, sort of go outside of Rotten Tomatoes to get this information. Is that it was critically hated when it first came out, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, the critics. I think some of the stuff I read were saying that it was like a made-for-TV movie. It was no better than
How
what they do on
strange.
TV. He didn't put
They
any
didn't-
money into it. La da da da.
There were so many new techniques he was using that people that were used to, the critics were like, we're used to seeing things this
chocolate
way.
syrup
So
for blood.
this is,
Come on now.
this is not good. You
well,
know,
it's black and white, right?
and
Yeah.
it was like,
So it needed to show up.
it was
and
black and
sometimes,
white.
Looks like blood.
what you find is
Genius.
cutting edge stuff. People don't tend to appreciate it, and then later,
That's what
people
As it
separates
gets
the
adopted,
peasants from the pretentious.
Did y'all know it was the first movie to show a toilet flushing?
Flushing.
Crazy. But
He's so avant-garde.
a lot of people, and I don't think a lot of people would.
avant-garde.
fresh
Yeah.
flex. That's
I don't think a lot of people. I think someone watching it now, watching the original, would probably be like, it's boring or slow, and possibly, and maybe even I could say, yeah, maybe that's true, but it's an important movie and you should watch it. So I was gonna pick 50 Shades of Grey. I really wanted to pick this movie.
Thank you
I
for
had
not-
it in
thank
my
you-
head.
Thank you
You
for
didn't
not.
think
I
so
appreciate
much.
you not making us watch
It
that.
doesn't fit the criteria. I really couldn't. I was trying to go to bat for
The
it.
critics liked it.
No
They
one
liked
liked
it,
it.
like-
No one liked it. The critics didn't like it. The audience didn't like it. It made a
Okay.
lot of money.
I thought people liked it.
The stories I hear is that people went and
I
they
would
were
assume-
just laughing at it.
Well, I assumed that
When they weren't
people
supposed
liked
to
it
be
because they
laughing.
made the sequel.
oh,
no,
they made
all three.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because
What-
it-
somebody
no.
must have liked it. They're making money.
No, it
25,
made
41.
money. I think people went to
Yes.
see it for the shit show
like-
that it was. They're like, it's so bad, you have to go watch it.
Okay, so it came out. The first one came out on Valentine's Day,
So the
and
second
so
one,
Oh, that's right.
me and Kevin went to go see it on Valentine's Day weekend.
no.
Yeah, we
Yes.
How
should
did you get
at-
roped into it?
That's what I wanted to
Never
see.
mind. that I wanna know.
Alamo.
I don't
at,
wanna
the,
know.
at the Alamo Draft House. Yeah.
Did you shoot up some heroin or something to get you through it?
I think you should have
Bunch of
just gone and
acid?
saw Secretary.
It's
With Maggie
it's a
Gyllenhaal.
stupid
Yes,
fun
I hear
movie.
that one. I hear that one is so good.
That is good. That's hot. Her and what's his actor?
James Spader.
James Spader. Yeah, so good in that.
James Spader is Kevin's doppelganger,
Mhm.
by the way.
Yeah. Well, was young
James Spader.
young
yeah.
James Spader,
Yeah, from
not
the,
current James
16,
Spader.
16 can not
Stargate-
16 candles.
Stargate
Yeah,
James Spader.
Stargate and
Sex, Lies, and
California.
Videotape.
California
Yeah.
or 2 days in the Valley.
He wasn't in California.
Then it was 2 days in
2
the
days
Valley.
in the Valley, I think. Anyways,
So, Psycho, 50 Shades didn't make the cut. So here's my top 4 before I get to my must watch. Pure Country with George Strait.
Yeah.
King
Walking.
George. I watched that just for the music.
It's,
Thank you for
Get your
being
ass
merciful.
out of here.
I enjoy it.
You
It's
don't
a good
watch
movie.
it for
I've never
George
seen it.
Strait's acting chops?
Get your ass out of
Get
here.
your ass gone. Get out of here.
Because he plays George Strait in the movie, basically.
He's
No.
adorable and amazing.
He does not play George Strait. He plays,
What's his name? Dusty Rivers?
Dusty,
Gorge
yeah,
Tate.
Yeah, he plays Dusty
Dusty Bend.
Dusty something.
Dusty Curve.
Dusty Straight.
Dusty Curve.
Yeah. Dusty Rhodes.
So Pure Country. That
He's
was
a wrestler.
Polka dots. What are the polka dots? Right. Send us an email about how much he looks like Dusty Rhodes. Go ahead.
that one had 41 critics, 91 audience. Clue. I went ahead and put Clue on here. And I didn't pick it as a must watch, but I'm going to pick this one day, so y'all get ready. It just barely. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 59% critics, but I'm pretty sure at the time it came out, if I did a lot more research, I would see more bad reviews of it because it is known for being not well received at the time. We've talked about this too in past episodes, but now it's 86% audience. The Last Boy Scout. The Last Boy Scout.
Oh, that
Oh, my
movie,
God.
I loved it. Loved it. It does not hold up well.
Oh, so I saw
It
this.
does
So
It's
not.
funny. It is
funny story. I saw that at Willowbrook Mall, and I got like one of those. Remember, they used to do like sneak peeks where you could like see it a week early or something like that. I saw The Last Boy Scout a week early, and I loved it. And I talk about how great that movie was. And then 10 years ago or so, I turned it on and I watched it, and I said, "Oh my god, this movie sucks so bad."
Really?
It's got that look.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm
no,
sorry.
I like it. I wouldn't, this isn't my movies I love list, right? It's just, it popped up in my research. And I was like, you know what? I want to pick that. I like it, but
Have you seen it recently?
not the whole way through, actually. But no, I mean,
This is the last boy.
We're not here to
The
bag
Last
on you.
Boy
We're not
Scout.
bagging on you.
Yeah,
It's
bagging
just
on you. No,
our
no, no, no.
opinions.
No.
Go ahead.
I also really enjoyed that movie. And then
maybe I should watch it again. But it's 46 critic and 68. So I mean, it's not even that high up. But so my fourth pick is Sex and the City, the movie.
thank you. I appreciate you not making us watch that.
Guy's name is Mr.
Thank
Big.
you.
Mr. Big.
Thank you for
That's
your
his
mercy.
name.
Well, his name is John. His nickname that the
Yes,
girls have
it's
given
like
him
it's
is
John
Mr.
Big.
Big.
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
It's John J. Preston. Oops,
Yes, John
spoiler.
Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
All right, so here we go. That was your 40, correct?
That is my 4.
right.
Go ahead, Andy.
Are you chomping at the bit, Andy? Are you ready? Are you sure?
Well, I'm just moving it right
I could talk
along.
more about Sex and the City if you
What
want.
about it?
if you
Let's
want me
not.
to.
Andy, what are your thoughts on Sex and the City?
I haven't seen it.
The movie or
I felt like I'd be lost. I didn't
I'm-
watch
I'm
the
for
show.
Sex and the
I'm
City.
not
he had
familiar
to
with
watch
the
the whole 10
characters.
seasons of the show.
And I just,
and-
oh my god, yeah, I can't do it.
But Miranda's great.
So, Andy,
So-
what are your
So I've already named quite a few movies that I considered and looked at and watched over. I think one of the ones that I mentioned earlier that I watched some movies in my research that one made my list, but some didn't. Well, Collateral Beauty, a Will Smith vehicle,
I
I
haven't
watched-
seen it.
did not
Haven't
make
seen
my
it.
list.
I've been wanting to see it for how
Um,
bad it is.
I did
I
not
don't
want
understand
to see
the
it.
title to that.
Here's some interest. Here, I'm gonna give you 3 that I really wanted on my list that didn't make my list. That I considered Hudson Hawk.
The movie
Bruce
sucks so
Willis
do
I
bad.
love
critics,
that
I mean, not
movie.
critics, do audiences like that now?
Would you like
I think
to
that's why I
swing
couldn't put it.
on
It
a
just wasn't high
star?
enough on the audience
Danny
side for me to
Aiello?
justify.
I've always heard
I
that was
know
a big
that's
flop.
wrong, but I
But the
only
critics-
know it
the
from
critics panned it.
Sabrina the Teenage
Yeah,
Witch.
no, I know,
Isn't
but
it-
and
I
I
thought the
enjoyed it.
audience. I didn't think the audiences liked
I
it
consider
either.
not
myself
Sabrina
part of the
the
audience.
Teenage Witch. That was from what was the TV show with
Clarissa.
the
No.
alien for the dad and the little
Would
jewelry
you
box?
like to
Oh,
bring on this stuff?
when she does.
Yeah.
When she stops
Not
time.
Vicky.
Out of this world.
Out of this world.
Evie.
Thank you.
Don't know it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
What's that have to do with
complete-
Hudson Hawk?
Well,
That's the song. The song in
song.
Hudson Hawk. Is
yes.
the theme
I'm
song.
sorry. It was a complete tangent. I apologize.
Me and Angela just had a stroll down nostalgia way. Sorry.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was having a stroke.
I apologize.
Smell toast?
Okay, and then Mr. and Mrs. Smith was up for consideration.
Okay, all right,
No, that movie pisses
That
me off.
movie
I
pisses
think
me
you-
off
you
for
will all
non-movie
be-
related things.
As I was
Exactly.
making jokes to Jessica about "Thank you for your mercy," I think you guys will feel this way when I say "The Village" did not make my list whatsoever.
Thank you.
You know what?
I'd watch that movie again.
That's
I'd
M.
watch
Night
that.
Shyamalan.
Yes,
Yes.
that's. yes.
I have never seen it.
Kevin's favorite director.
Doug explained it to me, and I think
God.
Doug does not like that movie.
Now,
I mean, it's
to my
silly.
actual
That's talking about a
true
movie that
list.
meanders and goes. I'm just like,
It's silly. It's not the worst.
And goes nowhere.
It's not the worst M. Night Shyamalan.
I
movie.
like.
It really isn't.
You'd be surprised if we ever do M Night. Like my least favorite M Night Shyamalan is Sixth Sense,
Ugh,
but that's just me.
I can't believe we
Because
disagree
it's so
at this.
mainstream.
No,
no.
his worst movie is supposed to be Last Airbender.
That one doesn't
Okay,
exist.
hold on.
Okay,
Hold on,
stop.
I'll give you Last Airbender.
That movie doesn't exist.
Hold on, and I just want to do a little correction on the old Andy opinion real quick. Somewhere along the line, I ran astray. It was in season 1, and I made a comment that The Last Airbender is a great film.
oh, you watched it?
And
Did you watch it?
I rewatched it again after having said that.
It's not good.
Oh, well, a friend of mine said, "I can't believe you said that," and I said, "What do you mean? It's a good movie." He goes, and he made a face, and I went and I.
Like the face we all made when you said that originally.
Penguin Army, I want you to know right now, Andy is gripping his microphone, white knuckled.
This is hard for him.
and,
It really is.
Like begging forgiveness.
he
I was
legitimately is doing
completely,
this.
You know, it's unusual for me to be wrong, and it's hard for me to admit
Oh my
sometimes.
God.
And that
So humble. So
was
humble.
I was so wrong. I could not even make it through. Anyway, regardless, okay, you are absolutely correct, Jessica. In fact, that movie is now banned from his repertoire. We will not discuss.
It doesn't exist, so
It
it
does
cannot
not
even
exist.
make it onto the list. The Happening is the worst M. Night Shyamalan movie.
All right,
Oh my
what's
God,
what's
Killer
next on your
Tree.
list?
Okay,
What's next on your
so
list?
to get onto my actual list,
Oh,
and I want to say,
I thought you were.
no, I did the same thing for you.
You
guys.
thought we hold on.
I thought he
You
picked
thought
Last
exactly what I
Airbender as
thought.
his
I was
must
like,
watch.
Andy, didn't you tell us movies that didn't make your list already?
I started off with that.
I'm making a joke. At the
Okay.
beginning, you
No,
talked
no,
about
no.
movies that didn't make your list, and then
Yeah.
you were like, movies that didn't make my list. I was like, wait, making a joke. Go ahead.
Okay, it was funny. So and I really want to say that of all these movies that are on my list of my 5, it was so hard for me to pick which one I was going to make you guys watch because I want to make you watch all of these films. I really do. So I'm going to go because what my final deciding factor was the disparity between audience and critic. So I'm going to go the least disparity to the greatest to get to my must watch.
So there was no editorial control in this. You were just like,
For me,
whatever. I picked the 5 movies, and then whatever.
that was my final deciding factor because I couldn't decide because I really wanted to. There's like of these 5, I could have easily picked any one of these for a must watch.
Yeah, his
Okay.
problem was picking a must watch. I guess once you
At
got to
end
the
of day,
5.
once I got my
Yeah.
5,
I'm
boiled
dying. I'm dying to hear the.
down. Okay,
didn't make
first
it.
one, The Last Dragon.
Oh,
Never even heard of
Show
it.
enough, Leroy.
Who's Leroy?
Show enough.
Kiss my Converse.
Oh, that's such and a great soundtrack too. That's
So the
typical
boys
for
know
Andy.
this.
The boys
The
do
girls.
know this. The girls.
This is
do.
a,
Have
like-
you never heard of this?
No,
I've
no,
never
no.
heard of this.
It's
I have
a
none of this.
80s. It's like a early
Apollonia?
80s.
Is that Apollonia? That's the video girlfriend
Oh.
star.
Yeah.
Prince's ex-girlfriend,
Yeah.
or ex-wife,
oh.
or something.
X whatever.
Such a great movie.
It's yes.
I would love to have
fantastic.
done it as a must watch. Anyway, The Last Dragon.
Bruce Lee.
Life as a House.
Never heard of it.
Same.
It stars that kid that played the antsy, awkward, socially inadept Anakin Skywalker in
Oh, Jake Lloyd?
but it works. No, not the little kid, not the first one. The Hayden Christensen.
Awkward?
He's the son of Kevin Kline.
He also went to Keanu Reeves School of Wooden Acting.
Well,
Mhm.
what works about Life as a House is he's playing that
is that he's playing a
role-
house.
Playing a house, like
He's
piece of
playing a
wood.
house. And
No.
And the house,
I like
starring
that movie.
Hayden Christensen.
It's emotional. Kevin Kline dying of cancer, architect. He's going to force his son to build a house with him.
But it's just Kevin Costner, so Kevin
Kevin
Kline. Okay.
It's Life is a House. It's a good movie.
Don't call me stupid.
I Am Sam.
It's called Wanda.
I saw that in the
The
theater.
Sean Penn. I
can't.
Am Sam.
I like-
Critics
I
hated
can't.
it.
I liked it.
Audiences
They
ended up
really
liking
hate it?
it.
Did they hate it because he went full retard?
I think so. Which is where I
He
think
got
Tropic
nominated
Thunder-
That's-
for
I
that.
think that's what
Tropic
Tropic
Thunder
Thunder
was
did
Most
that
of the
joke.
critics said he just did it as an Oscar grab, trying to get sentimentality.
Well, he
They
didn't
didn't
win,
like the
so-
depiction. They didn't like the idea that you're sitting in the audience and you almost have to root against him because you have to be concerned about the safety for the little girl. She can't be raised by
That's Dakota
somebody. with-
Fanning, right?
Yeah, probably Dakota Fanning's breakout role when you're
Yeah,
that
she was
age,
really
if you
good
have-
in this
she's
movie.
really
She
good
was
in
a
it.
tiny girl and she did really well in this movie.
I enjoy that film.
That and Man on
I
Fire.
can argue for that. It came very close.
Man on Fire,
It came
yeah.
very close to me picking that one for my must watch.
Hmm.
And then my number 4, well, and greatest disparity, and definitely the runner up from a must watch.
That's how Yuri feel.
Just Before I Go. And y'all know, yeah.
Are you leaving?
Just Before I Go.
Kevin, can you do me a favor? When he says that,
Add
add crickets.
Just Before I Go, directed by Courtney Cox, starring Stifler.
No,
Uh,
does not
What's it
ring any
about?
bells.
He's dying, I'm assuming?
he has decided to commit suicide.
Uh-huh.
So he goes home to his hometown to stay with his brother, and he has like a bucket list he's knocking off before he commits suicide. And
That sounds like
and it is hysterical.
romp.
It is a comedy romp. It is raunchy. It is not PC. In a world where you have to have PC stuff all the
So
time,
Karen would love it.
Courtney Cox got
So
completely-
this is
Karen.
right up
Karen
Karen's
movie.
alley.
Who?
Karen.
Karen
You're-
will love this film.
You are like.
I am pandering to Karen. Karen, please, if you haven't seen it, go watch Just Before I Go. I'm telling you, you will love this. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
No consent required.
And in the movie, there's a picture of a bowl of dicks. Best picture of a bowl of dicks I've ever seen. Just saying that.
A bowl, not a bag.
Not a bag.
though.
No, it's a bowl. It's like a fruit bowl. But
Fruit
filled with
bowl of
dicks.
dicks.
Yeah, that's part of the humor. That's if you find
It's
that
funny.
idea funny, you might enjoy the humor of this movie.
Well,
I think it's funny. It's hysterical.
Kevin, have you done
Not
your...
necessarily politically correct. Huh?
Making sure we won't.
Now I'm going to go ahead and since you guys went first with your 4, I'll go ahead and go first with my must watch.
Okay.
Beating that entire list, beating those 4 movies for my must watch with the greatest critic to audience disparity. I like saying that. It's so pretentious. Boondock Saints,
Hmm.
which I felt like I had
yeah.
to pick because I feel like it's a movie we have to do.
I
And
dig that movie.
it was such a
That's
great.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that kept coming up on my research.
Oh,
I
it's
mean, it's
everywhere.
kind
It
of
was on every
known.
list.
It's
I felt
kind of
like-
known
I felt
for being
forced to pick it because
the
it's so
poster
well
child.
known. It is the poster child for this
Yeah.
topic, not Face Off, which is why I had to take
Face Off. Everybody loves Face Off. Come to find out,
Which is why I
everybody
had
loves
to
Face
take
Off.
to be honest with you, I enjoyed the movie so much. I'm kind of looking forward to revisiting it and see if it holds up to my memory. Because sometimes, like say Last Airbender, it doesn't hold up to what I remembered.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'm looking forward
Yep.
to seeing this.
Good for
You should.
I've heard
I
a
think
lot
everybody
about it.
should see it.
Yeah.
So that's my must watch. What do you
Cool.
guys got?
Jesse?
Oh, okay. Well, my must watch does have the biggest disparity on my list, but I didn't really mean to do that.
Well, it's cool that you did.
It's a movie that popped in my head, looked it up, and went ding, 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 ding. I can't believe this works. You know, should I be unhappy about the fact that critics hate this movie that I love? Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to move on and pick it. But Empire Records. Yeah.
I think that's a great one for a show.
90s.
Yeah.
90s, little trip back to the
To
90s.
be honest, yeah, I've never seen it,
neither have I.
What was your...
but I've heard
what's
of it, and I
the-
think there's
what's
enough
the-
cult following that it'll be a.
What's
a
the
good one
Rotten
to must
Tomatoes
watch.
score?
29 critics, 84 audience.
Wow. That's
Wow.
why
What about
did this-
Boondock Saints? Do you have that?
Boondock Saints, I have it at 22 critics, 91 audience.
Wow. That's insane. That's a huge disparity.
Yep.
Yeah, critics hated my movie.
Angie?
Jump in there.
Okay, so mine's not got the mine does not have the biggest disparity of the movies.
Okay, sure.
It's a movie I watch and I enjoy, but I never hear people talking about it. And my pick is Lucky Number 11.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've never seen
Oh, you guys are in for a treat. I
I've
remember
always
it
wanted to
fondly.
see it.
It's
I've
kind
just
of-
never had the
Josh
opportunity.
Hartnett, right?
It's Josh Hartnett. It's and Lucy Liu. I really
Okay.
like Lucy Liu. I think I like her. I like
Bruce-
her in
Bruce
Bruce
Willis,
Willis and
yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Gandhi.
Ben
Ben
Kingsley.
Kingsley.
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, I enjoy it. I really enjoy the movie. I think it's nice. There's
so nice.
it's so nice. She's cute. It's
Cool.
and it's a 51 to 87.
Okay.
51 critic, 87 audience.
I really like Lucy Liu in Payback.
With
the Mel
Is that
Gibson.
Mel
vehicle.
Gibson?
That's
Okay.
such a good
Yeah.
movie. That's yeah.
Doug, what you got?
So the movie I decided to choose was a movie that I saw a long time ago, and I've always enjoyed it. It's Benicio del Toro and Ryan Phillippe in Way of the Gun. It's got James
Those are
Caan.
both
See, I've never
solid
seen that.
actors. I've never seen it.
I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
I've heard
It's
of it.
known for
Yeah, I've heard
its
of it.
realistic shootouts. It's a lot of shooting, but Juliette Lewis is in it, and then there's
Okay.
like a whole kidnapping that they do, and it's very mobster light with James Caan, and
Yeah.
like there's old time gangsters in it and everything else.
Well, Boondock
I know
Saints
I've
has some
seen
mafia mob stuff sort of in it. Yeah.
I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
I'm looking forward to watching it, to be honest.
So this is a movie. It's a movie that there's a lot of YouTube videos about how realistic stuff that they do of just with guns.
To be honest, I
and-
feel like I should have seen it already, and I haven't. So I'm glad you picked it.
so.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Right on. Well, my movie is a disparity of 13 and 64,
Awesome.
and it is the Patrick Swayze vehicle,
Ghost.
Red Dawn.
Oh,
Ghost.
Red Dawn.
Yeah, Red Dawn, the Patrick Swayze. Well, now
This is a Doug favorite.
this is a Kevin favorite. I picked it not because it's like a giant disparity. I mean, it's got a really low.
Oh wait, we're seeing the
critics.
Chris Hemsworth version, right?
No,
No.
Like
There's
I
a
s-
remake
like I
of this
said,
movie?
Yes, there's a
With Chris Hemsworth,
With Chris
and,
Hemsworth.
Four.
and the guy from
Why would you ever?
what's the movie where she puts her fingers up with
Oh,
Mockingbird?
E.T.,
Hunger
Hunger
Games.
Games.
Evil Dead,
The
2.
mocking.
The other guy, the competitor.
Hush, little
Yeah.
baby, don't say a
From-
word.
PETA?
Yes, Peter's in.
Oh, Josh Hutcherson.
Thank you.
Thank
He's
you.
in the other Red Dawn.
I've
All right,
seen that
whatever.
one too, and I don't remember a bit of it.
But you remember C. Thomas Howell.
Hell
Remember
yeah. Wolverine! Hell
Powers
yeah.
Booth.
Rough.
Powers Booth, Harry Dean Stanton, Charlie Sheen, Leah Thompson, Jennifer Grey. Come on.
It was
What
like
year was that one released?
84.
84.
84. Okay.
And they all went on to do The Outsiders.
Was that after Red
Was
Dawn?
that after?
I thought that was before.
I think that was before.
I think Outsiders was first.
Yes.
I think
So-
it was before.
Anyways, we can all get into that.
When
And
we
the
discussed
movie.
that movie, yeah.
And so, how are we deciding on what movies to watch?
I think we decided we're going by when they were
Release
made.
year, right?
Release year. So,
Yeah.
so our earliest to most recent.
Yeah, so it'll be Red Dawn, Empire Records. What
I
was
think Lucky Number 11 is.
No.
Oh,
Boondock
no.
Saints.
Boondock
Oh, sorry.
Saints?
Way,
Way of the
Way of the
Gun,
Gun.
like a number
Oh.
7.
With-
Is that
and
right?
then, and then
Lucky
Lucky
Number
Number 11.
Yeah, I think that's the
you're
order.
Okay.
What was Boondock Saints? 99, right?
Yes.
Mine was 2000. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so next episode we'll be talking about Red Dawn.
Joy.
That's the spirit.
What?
right.
Come along
Yes,
for the
Red
ride,
Dawn, right?
Karen.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So next episode we'll be talking about Red Dawn. We've got Empire Records. We've got Way of the Gun, Lucky Number 11, and Boondock Saints. Not in that order.
Not in that order.
Not in that order.
No, it's
But that's the order that I remembered it in. So that's what counts.
well, it's almost.
What did we miss up?
It's Red Dawn, Empire Records, Boondock Saints, Way of the Gun, Lucky Number 11.
That's what we said. Okay.
Anyways,
We all agree.
that's what we're doing right
Yeah,
there. What you
that's
just
the
said.
order.
Perfect. That's
All
the
right,
order we're
that's
gonna
it. That's season 4.
So
Right.
you'll have a week to watch Red Dawn, guys.
Catch
like
up.
you haven't seen it before.
Catch
Because
up,
everybody
get ready.
loves this movie.
I know, right? It's on all the time, and everybody. It should be like part of our job.
There is gonna be- I
If
think
you were
this is
born, if
it.
you were our age and you were a child in the 80s and you have not seen Red Dawn as a man, as a boy, you need to put your parents
I'm
up for
gonna throw
child
this one
abuse.
out there.
because that's how good this movie
You
is.
need to accuse your parents of child abuse right now. Call them up and you tell them.
Call CBS.
You
tell them you're a
abused me as a
40-year-old
child.
man.
You never let me watch Red Dawn. The amazing Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Powers Booth, Charlie Sheen, Jennifer Grey, and Leah Thompson vehicle.
Yes.
Here we go.
All right.
All right.
British treasures, Patrick Swayze,
from across the pond.
starring in this American jaunt. All right.
All right.
So there's your season
There's it.
4 Penguin Army. You know it, you love it, you heard it. So now
Get out
like,
there. Start watching. Catch
Exactly.
up. Be ready.
Be ready because we got a whole season's worth of episodes coming at you. Check us out on our Facebook fan page at The Dirty Penguin Presents. Check us out on our Instagram fan
Hey,
page.
by the way,
at
we do just real quick, Kevin. Sorry to interrupt, but we love your comments, fan. Please jump in there, say some things, give us some feedback.
Good or
Interaction is
bad.
great.
Interaction, we love it. So,
Karen, hit
On
us
the
up.
Hit
YouTubes,
us up,
on
Karen.
the Facebooks,
On the
on
tweet-
the Instagrams, and on the
tweet
tweet
tweets.
boxes.
yeah, we want to connect.
That's right. And as I was saying, we have a Facebook fan page at The Dirty Penguin Presents. We have an Instagram fan page at The Dirty Penguin Presents. And we have a Twitter fan page at Dirty Presents. You can always reach us at our website, thedirtypenguinpresents.com. There you can link to all of our episodes. You can see our bios of all of our faithful penguins. You can sign up for our email list and get Dirty Penguin content right into your email box. That does it for season 4, episode 1 of The Dirty Penguin Presents Movies. We'll be back with you with our next episode of Red Dawn.
Wah, 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 wah.